Hello ladies, in this video we're going to go through the multiple choice answers for your matrices test. I'll show you how to do things by hand but also on your calculator. So this test you should have mostly used your calculator, but obviously some questions you could easily just quickly do by hand. Alright, I'm just going to get the pen up. I might work with, I don't like red, let's work with pink. Okay, so for two matrices to be equal, the required value of y is, so here is y. So we've got y plus 7, and that's in the same spot as this one here. So we're going to have y plus 7 is equal to 4. So then we're just solving for y. So let's take away 7 from both sides. That disappears. So y is equal to -3. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So that question you can't really do on your calculator, just requires you to have an understanding of matrices. Okay, question 2. For the three towns G, H, and I, the matrix gives the number of roads directly connecting one town to another. The total number of roads directly connecting town H to other towns is, okay, so if we look at H is connected to G once and has 3 roads connecting it to I. So the answer is 4. All right, question 3. Use the matrices A and B in questions 3 and 4. So the matrix for A minus B is, all right, so I'll do it by hand first. So we've got matrix A. Now girls, remember with your short answer test coming up that you need to show your working. I don't know why I'm writing on an angle. I'm not really holding the pen too well. That's probably why. Okay, and sorry about the wonky. So when you're taking away or adding matrices, you're just adding or subtracting the same element. So we're going to do, and I might just do a big one here. So in this first element, we've got 4 minus 8. This one here, we've got -2 minus 2. This one here, -3 minus -5. So just be careful with your negatives there. And then this one here, we've got 6 minus 3. So I'm just going to write in black what those values are and what your matrix should look like. So 4 minus 8 is -4. I had a bit of it. And that's -4. -3 minus -8, so it's going to be -3 plus 5. Whoops, I said 8. -3 minus -5, so -3 plus 5 is 2, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So your correct answer, I might just bring my pink pen back up. So we've got -4, 2, 3. Okay, so there we go at E. Now, I'm just going to do the same thing on the calculator. Give me a sec while I get the calculator up. All right, I'll start a new document. You can't really see that too well, so I might just make it a bit smaller. Okay, so we want to add the calculator. Now I can't I'm just going to move that over while I put those matrices in. So remember, you can store them if you like. Sometimes I think that's just a waste of time, so I'm not going to do that. But if you stored your matrices, that's fine. And 6, and we're going to subtract B, which is 8 to -5, 3. Okay, so there's, oops, you can't see the final answer. Let me just move it over. Okay, so there's your matrix, which is what we got. Okay, -4, -4, 2, 3. Question 4, we've got the matrix 2A minus B. So I'm going to get the calculator back up. So the good thing about your calculator, even though I didn't store them as A and B, I can still highlight it. So we're going to do 2 times A. So I'm going to just, I press Shift and just highlight it. See how it's highlighted? Control C, just like you would on a normal calculator. Whoops, how did that happen? Don't know why that happened. Okay, so we should Control copy. Cool, there it is. And then we've got minus B. So let's just copy that one. Just might, whoops, hopefully it worked. Yes, it did. Okay, so we've got 0, -6, -1, 9. Okay, so that is C. Let me just circle that, and then I'll show you how to do it by hand. Was it C? I can't remember. 0, -6. Yeah, cool. All right, so 2A is 2 times matrix A. So I'm just going to scroll up so I can see what matrix A is. So 4, -2, and -3, 6. And then we're subtracting B. So let me just subtract B. So what is that? 8, 2. Was it -5, 3? Hopefully I've written that correctly. Cool. All right, so what we've got first is a scalar multiplication. So do your multiplication before your subtraction. So we've got 2 times, oops, I'm just going to close my emails. Just give me one sec. Okay. So we've got 2 times 4. So everything inside this matrix gets multiplied by 2. So 2 times -2, 2 times -3, and then 2 times 6. And then we're taking away this matrix. So 8, 2, -5, 3. And just like we did before, we just subtract the same element. So 8 minus 8 is 0. -4 minus 2 is -6. -6 minus -5, so it's going to be -6 plus 5. So we've got -1. And then 12 minus 3 gives you 9. So you can see we get the same answer. All right, moving along. Use the matrices R, S, T, and U in questions 5 to 7. So question 5, we're talking about matrix multiplication and whether it's defined or not. So remember, matrix multiplication, you have to look at the orders. So let's look at SU first. So the order of S is 1, 2, so 1 row, 2 columns. And the order of matrix U is 2 rows, 1 column. And I like to just circle these, and if they're the same, it's defined. Now we've got to look for the one that isn't defined, so let's just go through them all. And it's always horrible when it's the very last one. So the order of U is 2, 1, and S is 1, 2. Okay, so they're the same, so we can do that. RU, sorry, I just had a bit of a blank. RU is a 2 by 2, and U is a 2 by 1. So they're the same, therefore we can do it. Let's keep going. UR, so U is a 2 by 1, and R is a 2 by 2. So you can't do this one, they're not the same, but let's just check TR anyway. So T is a 3 by 2, and R is a 2 by 2, so we can do that one. Good. So your correct answer for that one is D. Guys, what I would have done if you wanted to do it quicker, I would have just written under here 2 times 2, 1 times 2. This is a 3 by 2, and this is a 2 by 1. All right, and then you probably wouldn't have to think in between all of them like I did. All right, the order of TU. Okay, so did we do TU? No, we didn't do TU. All right, so T is, didn't even write it there. T is a 3 by 2, and U is a 2 by 1. So TU is a 3 by 2, and a U is a 2 by 1. So we can do it. And remember, the order is what these outside numbers are. So it's a 3 times 1. So the correct answer is E. And then the matrix multiplication TU gives, so I'm going to do that. I might just pause while I write that down. All right, so I've just written matrix T and matrix U, so we're multiplying them. Now remember, what we're doing is the first row, so we kind of run and then we dive. So remember in the previous question, we know it's going to be a 3 times 1. So your first element comes from 9 times 5 plus 7 times 8. Okay, so we've done the first row, first column. Now we'll do the second row, so 6 times 5, then 3 times 8, and then, so we've done that one, and let's do the last column. So then we've got 5 times 5 plus 2 times 8. All right, don't leave it like that. So let's just put our answers in. So we've got 9, oops, let me just change it to pink so you can see. So 9 times 5 is 45. 7 times 8 is 50. I'm just having a blank, 56. So 45 plus 56, oh my God, 101. Okay, 6 times 5 is 30. 3 times 8 is 24. So the next number is going to be 54. I can already see that C is your answer, but you need to know how to do it by hand. So 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 8 is 16. So that's going to give you 41. So the correct answer is C. Now you can do that on your calculator a lot quicker. So if you don't need to show your working out, you can just do that on your calculator. Let me just write down the matrices first. So we've got 9, 7, 6, 3, 5, 2 times, and then we've got a 2 by 2. Let's put that in, 5, 8, and there's your matrix. So I don't know why I need to bring it into the center of the screen, but you get the same answer a lot quicker. But girls, you do need to know how to do matrix multiplication by hand. All right, question 8. So we're going to do the inverse. Again, you need to know how to do this by hand. So the rule for the inverse, I'm just going to pause because I don't want to get it wrong. Just give me a sec. All right, so it's 1 over AD minus BC. And then we switch the spots in our matrix. So this is going to be D, negative B, negative C, A. So what you need to do is identify your A, B, C, and D. So in this matrix, A is 6, B is 2, C is 8, and then D is 3. Okay, I'm going to use a different color. So we've got A is 6, D is 3, B is 2, and C is 8. Let's keep going. All right, D is 3. Then we have B, but we put a negative sign in front of it, so it's going to be negative. C is 8, so it's going to be negative 8. And then A is 6. So I've got 1 over 6 times 3 is 18. 2 times 8 is 16. And then we're going to have the same matrix. So I'm not going to rewrite that. So this is equal to a half. So we've got a half times this matrix here. So 3, negative 1, negative 8, 6. And you can see that is option B. Now you should get into the habit of putting this half into your matrix. So multiplying each element by a half. So we're going to have 3 over 2, negative 2 over 2, -8 over 2, and then 6 over 2. Now, I know the question, we've already answered it, but you need to also take that next step and do your scalar multiplication. So 3 over 2, I'm just going to leave as 3 over 2, -1, and I'm just going to scroll a little bit more, -4, and then we've got 3. So that is your matrix once you'd go through and do your scalar multiplication. Now on your calculator, let me just get the calculator up and have a look at the question. So we've got here a 4 by 4, so I'll just click. So I was going to write in the wrong one. Okay, so we've got 6, 2, 8, 3. Now doing the inverse on your calculator, you just do to the power of -1. Now the thing with this question though is that the answers kind of require you to have an understanding of how to do it by hand. So if you're only able to do this on your calculator, you would have had to then check, well, which one is similar to that. And I think quite a few of you got this question wrong, probably because you could do it on your calculator, but not by hand. All right, question 9 and 10. So the following matrices are needed. Question 9 and 10. We've got U, V, W, X, and Y. Now your determinants, I'm going to write this in pink, is 1 over AD minus BC. Oops, sorry. No, it's not. Just let me write that out. It's just the AD minus BC part. And the reason for that is it determines whether you can take the inverse. So for the determinant of W, oh, they're just there. Gosh, they're so small. So we're looking at matrix W. So we've got 0.6, 0.5. This question you can easily do on your calculator, but I want to show you how to do it by hand. Okay, so identifying A, B, C, and D, I might just write them here on the matrix, A, B, C, and D. So that means A 0.6 times D, whoops, didn't write that as D, here we go, 0.6 times 0.5 minus B, which is 0.5 times C, 0.4. And then you can just do that probably on your calculator. You don't need to know how to do multiply decimals. Okay, so get the calculator up. I've got 0.6, my memory is terrible, times 0.5. So you can just do that, and then 0.5 times 0.4 is going to be 0.2. I'll just put that on there. So your final answer is going to be 0.3 minus 0.2 is 0.1, and that is option C. Now you can also do your determinant on the calculator, so I'm just going to get that up. Now to do your determinant, just press DET. Notice how it goes from italics to normal, and then put your brackets on. And I forgot my matrix, so I'm just going to scroll over. So put your matrix in, 2 by 2. All right, and there it is, 0.1. So a lot quicker to do by using the calculator, but you need to know how to do it by hand. All right, question 10 is one that you can't do on your, or you can do it by hand, but I'm going to use your calculator. So you're not expected in this study to do a matrix to the power of 3, other than doing it by hand. Sorry, I'll just get rid of that. Oh gosh, go away. Okay, so matrix X, which I can just see. So we've got 3 times matrix X. So I'm going to write in X, 3, 5, 4, 6, and that's to the power of 3. Okay, so there's your matrix. So that looks like B. Okay, you also, if you thought about it, if you didn't even know how to do that question, we're taking X to the power of 3. So they're all whole numbers. So you're going to get quite large numbers, but easy to do on the calculator. All right, question 11. The matrix below shows when communication exists between people in the group Abe, Bob, Chloe, and Diana. Communication between 2 people is shown by a 1 and no communication is a 0. Okay, so Abe can communicate with everyone. So Bob, Chloe, and Diana. So the question asks, how many people does Diana communicate with? Diana communicates with Abe and she communicates with Chloe, so 2. All right, question 2. The first step in the matrix method for solving the below simultaneous equation is, gosh, girls, I'm not talking too well today. All right, so what we need to do when you're writing a simultaneous equation in our matrix, we put in just the coefficients of X and Y. Make sure they're in that order. Sometimes you'll see them mixed around just to, trick you, but these ones are written as X and Y. This negative sign stays with the 5, so we write -5, so then we've got 7, 3. Our next matrix is XY. Okay, so remember when we multiply matrices, we do the first row times the column, so it's going to be 4 times X plus -5Y, okay, which is what we've got in the simultaneous equation, and then 21, -69. Now with equations like this, see how they're linear equations? So even if you can't do the matrix, so let's say what does X, it asks what X and what Y equals, you have a knowledge of linear equations, so you can easily just use solve on your calculator. But matrices, questions usually require you to have an understanding of this, okay? And it's easily found in your textbook. So if you forgot how to do that, make sure you know it for next time. All right, question 13. The monthly sales each salesperson has made for 4 car brands is shown in the matrix S below. Use one of the following matrices to form a matrix product with S. Choose a matrix product that would give the total number of sales made by each person. Okay, so at the moment, let's just work with the order because that means we could do a process of elimination. So this matrix S there's 3 rows, 4 columns. So it's a 3 times 4 matrix. W is a 3 times 1. X is a 1 times 3. So 1 row, 3 columns. Y is a 4 times 1. And Z is a 1 times 4. All right, so let's look at the ones in our options. So I'm going to do A. So X, S. So the order of matrix X is a 1 times 3. And then S is a 3 times 4. So we can do that, but is it going to give us what we want? So let's just have a look first. I wouldn't necessarily do it this way. I'd probably give it a bit more thought, but I'm just showing you a way where you can think, well, I'm not too sure how to do it, so I might just have a look at which ones can actually be done. Okay, matrix S is a 3 times 4, Y is a 4 times 1, so that one can be done as well. C, Y, S, so Y is a 4 times 1, and S is a 3 times 4, so we can't do that one. So I know option C is out. Let's have a look at D, SW. So matrix S is a 3 times 4, and W is a 3 times 1, so we also can't do that one. And then SZ. So S is a 3 times 4, and Z is a 1 times 4. So we can't do that one either. So if you had to guess, you've now increased your chances of guessing. Okay, you've gone from 20% chance to a 50% chance. All right, so let's have a look at what they're both totaling. And I would actually, to get a better understanding of these, I would actually do the multiplication. So I'm going to get my calculator back up. So the first one is an x times y. So I'm going to do my x matrix first. Just need to move that over a bit. Oops. Come on. All right, so x is a 1 by 3. So we've got 1, 1, 1, and we're multiplying that by s, which is a 3 by 4. All right, so we've got 9, 11, 8, 13, 8, 7, 5, 4, 10, 6, 14, 12. And girls, you may have noticed, I don't know, and I've told you this before, press tab to go between your matrices. Okay, so here is my answer. So basically, I've got 27, 24, 27, 29. And you can kind of look, all right, that is just totaling up the columns. All right, the number of Fords, the number of Holdens, the number of Kias, the number of Toyotas. I can't even remember what the question asks. Use one of the following matrices to form a matrix product with S. Choose a matrix product that would give the total number of sales made by each person. Okay, so we basically did the sales of each car. So now I know that B is the correct answer, not A, because A shows the total number of cars, not the being sold, not the total sales by each person. So let's just do SY anyway. Now remember, I wrote S before, so just to save me time, I'm going to copy. So Control C and paste that, and I'm going to multiply that by Y. So Y was a 4 by 1, wasn't it? Okay, so 4, 1. All right, and there you can see. So Andrew, whoops, let me just put that back over so you can see the answer. So Andrew sold 41, Blake 24, and Kate 42. Okay, so your answer is B. It's a good question. All right, given that matrix times that matrix, the calculation would be represented by. So this is where you need to have a knowledge of multiplication. And when you did matrix multiplication, I try to emphasize as much as possible that you need to know the process. Everyone can do it on the calculator, but girls, if you're going into further maths, about 90% of schools do matrices. So you're competing against students who can do this without a calculator. So make sure you are in that group. Okay, don't be the group that does everything with the calculator. All right, so remember we do run, dive. So in our first spot, now we don't have to do the whole thing. We can do a process of elimination as we go along. So in our first element, we're going to have a 2 times, it's going to be 2 times 2 plus 3 times 3. Just making sure I've written it correctly. I hate to make a mistake. All right, so 2 times 2 plus, and my resulting matrix is going to be a 2 by 2, and they all look like 2 by 2 matrices. Okay, so I can cross off A already because in this first element it should say 2 times 2 plus 3 times 3. It's not going to be B because it doesn't say that. C does. Let's not circle it yet and get all excited. D doesn't. Okay. So now my only options are E or C. Now I'm not, if you look at C and E, this first row, they're the same. Okay, something's, oh no, they're not. Oh, this is tricky, tricky, tricky. Oh, I hope no one got stumped by that. There's a secret multiplication sign in there. So it can only be E. Oh, wonder how many of you noticed that as well. Okay, so just be careful. Don't always look at the first one. Now, if you wanted to keep going, remember then we do the first row times the second column. So then it's 2 times 5 plus 3 times 6. And then we do the next row. So 1 times 2 plus 4 times 3. And then last one we have 1 times 5 plus 4 times 6. Okay, which is your answer there. All right, last one. Oh, this is a quick one. So this just requires you to have a knowledge of matrices. So what we have here is an identity matrix. A zero matrix would have all zeros. A scalar matrix has a number out the front. An identity, well, it is an identity matrix. Okay, it's not an inverse matrix and it's not a transition matrix. Okay, so it has to be an identity matrix. And when we did identity matrices, you should know that 1 is down the diagonal. All right, girls, well done. Bye.